Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scales, home edition number 2. I'm
Yes.
Ryan Harrison, president of the Welland Jackfish, and I got my counterpart with me, Spencer. Say hello.
Hey, how are you?
Very
Looking fresh
good. Nice.
behind good old Jackfish flag behind you. I love it.
I had some time to put together a set. It was kind of nice
Love it.
to have that extra few minutes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's
But it's
awesome.
nice to actually see your face on the screen this time than what we had going on before. So that's always good. That is
Yeah, a couple
always good.
weeks ago, we kind of just threw it together. I mean, this one, nice little intro. We could see each other. This is huge. A couple of guests lined up. This feels like it's an actual behind the scales 2020.
Well, anybody that's watched our show before will know we just wing it, but this time we actually have somewhat of a script put together. And
Yep.
like Spencer said, we do have two guests today. We've got field manager Brian Essery that will be coming on around 3:20 and 3:10, sorry, and IBL Commissioner John Kastner will be coming around 3:20 to talk about the IBL, the season, and a bunch of different other things going on.
So I guess I have to just throw it out there. Obviously, your family doing all right, even though you're kind of stuck at home.
Oh yeah, we're doing great. A little bit, maybe a little bit of cabin fever. Love to be at the ballpark right now,
Yeah.
doing everything that we do, but rather everybody be safe and happy and everything like that than be there too early, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yourself?
No kidding. No kidding. Not bad. It snowed. It did snow down here. I don't know up Burlington way. I know you're moving down, but it did snow yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
that was that was a negative.
it might have snowed a little bit, but that's also maybe a good thing to keep people inside. On those people that
That's
seem to like
true.
to get outside
That's true.
more than not. But anyway, yeah, we got a pretty good lineup today. We got some contests we're going to do, some trivia, a couple different features we're going to show on this brand new Behind the Scales because it looks pretty awesome, I have to say. Now, one thing, just welcome to all our fans. We do have the comment section going, so if you have any questions or anything like that, please put them in the comment section, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. I guess to start, we'll go with our 2020 Jackfish season update. As anybody has seen online, there was an announcement by the Intercounty Baseball League that no baseball will be played until July 1st, or I guess won't be played as soon as that happens. Now we know in Welland our ballparks are closed until June 30th, so we can't even get on the field, which we wouldn't anyway due to the safety. So I know ourselves and 4 other teams along with the league are looking at if we can and it's all safe and good to go. The government says yes, doctors say yes, everybody says yes, and we're allowed to congregate, then we will do so in a safe manner and hope that we see everybody at the ballpark. But it's a fluid.
I think. Well, what you're just kind of just talking about, it's kind of important to note that yes, July 1st seems like it's a go right now, but there's so many hoops still to go through, which kind of brings everyone down a little bit. But it's for the best in the way, I guess.
Well, that's just it. I mean, there's tons of things that have to line up for us to even remotely get in there. And we're well aware of that. We know that that's the possibility of having a season is lower, quite a bit lower, as everybody can imagine. But, we're still remaining hope that we can have something for everybody to look forward to down the line. I mean, eventually this will slow down and hopefully taper off. And if it does so quick enough, then we'll provide that entertainment for people. But again, if it doesn't and we're pushed back to 2021, that's also no problem. We'll be back. We just want everybody to be safe, but also, we'll be entertaining people throughout the off season. We're going to be announcing something in a few minutes about our home opener on May 16th that we think is pretty exciting. But yeah, I mean, it's a negative time, but also, our policy to our team right now is just to be as positive as possible because with so many negative things going on the news and in the world and everything like that, it's always give people something to look forward to and, positive thoughts.
I don't know if I lost you or not, but I can't hear Ryan all of a sudden.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
So I'll try to figure that out. It sounds like you can but I can't hear Ryan.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, where we go. We're back. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So you just, no big deal. You didn't miss much. So we're just going to move on. So everybody that's seen our little thing we got going on, we want to get all of our fans involved in a kind of nice, cool music video we're doing. So we'll just play a clip of that and how you can get involved. And we hope more people send in videos, and it's a lot of fun. So there you go. So we're doing a music video to Baby
now the
Shark.
internet's screwing up here on my end again. I will figure it out. Don't worry about me.
No worries. So this is how you get involved with our music video. Play the Baby Shark song real loud. Video yourself doing the actions and the dance. Try to film it sideways or horizontal if you can. We do have a Dropbox folder which you can find on our bio. You can find it there and upload it there. Now the deadline for it is Wednesday, April 13th at 6. So hopefully you get them in by then, and then our editors will put it together, and you can see the finished product a couple days later. So it's just me right now. Spencer jumped off to try to fix his issues with his connection. He'll be back though. Now we do want to announce real quick, and I'll inform Spencer when he gets back on. We are hosting a virtual home opener, so it will be at home opener on Saturday, May 16th, starting at 1 o'clock. You can expect pretty much everything that we usually do for our games, but it'll be online. So we will be replaying our 2019 home opener versus the London Majors. We will be doing in-between inning contests where people can actually go online and participate. We're going to be doing a 50-50 online with donation to the Lions Club. We'll be doing tons and tons of things. So there will be lots going on there with that. More details to come once we get to that. So we're just going to hop into our trivia time. Throw that on. And what you can do, and here's a trivia question: which Jackfish player hit the first ever home run in Jackfish history? So you can text your answer to 905-736-1346 and include your name. If you know the answer to that question, please text it to 905-736-1346 and include your name.
I remember that home run too as I joined myself back here. That was a killer home run.
It was great.
Early in the year, very early in the year for those who may need some help.
It was, and we actually have the clip for everybody. So once we at the end of this segment, we will actually play that clip, and everybody can kind of take a look at that. Crowd went nuts. I loved every minute of it.
It was one of those things you didn't know how long it was going to take to happen, and then once it happened, I know you still have the ball, I believe. I don't know how many firsts you have or first balls you have, but that was definitely one for the record books.
Yeah, we have 5. We got our first win, our first home run, our first hit, first playoff win, first series win. They're all at the stadium right now. So once we open back up, everybody can come check them out if you want. Come say hi. We do have a question from Patricia. Can you still buy merchandise from the park, or do you have to buy online and pay for delivery? So you can actually, if you live in Welland, you can buy merchandise online and you can select the pickup method. And what we can actually do is plan a time to have that ready for you. Right now, we're only going to the stadium once a week just to check in on the office to make sure nothing's going on in there. So usually that's on a Monday. So if you purchase anything, we can arrange to have that picked up and leave it outside like a kind of a curbside pickup. So with that,
changing on the fly.
There you go. And with that, as you want to see, you can still buy things online. Here's our shop. All these items are still available. Hats are all fully in stock. We got actually some new t-shirts that will be in stock once everything kind of businesses reopen up. So look out for that. But Lots of stuff going on. So that's shop.wellandjackfish.com. You can still get stuff. And also, I want to remind everybody, speaking of merchandise, we are doing our campaign, our Sorry We're Closed 2020.com, where you can go and pick up a shirt for donate to the Hope Center. Let's try to
What timing?
We'll try and get Brian Essery on the phone here. Brian, are you there?
Hey, what's going on, pal? How are you?
There's Brian. Brian, we got Spencer and myself on the line here.
I can hear him. Yep, all good.
Spencer, he says, how you doing, Spence?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, thanks. I mean, I know the internet's kind of a bit sketchy here, but everything's kind of coming back into place, and hope everything's well with you too.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, thanks for coming on. This is I think your first time ever on Behind the Scales, so we're happy to have you. And I know we got a bunch of questions for you with all the things going on right now. So, Spencer, I'll let you take it away there.
It's kind of tough right now, obviously, with no baseball actually happening, but yourself motivated and, thinking about the 2020 season, when and if we actually do finally throw a baseball around.
Yeah, that's a good question, Spencer. It's definitely a trying time for sure, and it's a depressing time for everybody involved, not just in the sporting world, obviously. I'm just staying motivated by going over our roster and keeping in touch on pretty much a daily basis with our GM, Jason McKay, and our lead assistant, Ricky Pillateri. Just going over our roster. We're pretty excited about the team that we've assembled. We're hoping to get on the field, but that's obviously not going to be up to us. It is what it is right now, and we just want the health and safety of everybody. So if we get to play baseball, that's a wonderful thing, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Well, I'm sure Ryan will echo 2019, the first season, obviously, season for the Jackfish. Take me through your thoughts on, you going back to day one of 2019 and then all the way until our final game when we got beat out.
Yeah, it was. It was a great year. It was actually a blur. I had so much fun. It went so fast. We didn't know what to really expect going into the season. We knew we had some talented players on our roster. That being said, we knew the IBL is an extremely difficult league to win in. We had a plan, though, on how we were going to play. We designed our team around speed and good pitching and good defense, and that's what we preached all season. And that got us to where we finished up. We were a very successful season, winning the first round of the playoffs, which was nice. And then obviously losing in the semifinals to Barrie was a little disappointing, but we knew the team that Barrie had, that in order to beat that team, man, you had to be firing all cylinders, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But we're looking forward to hopefully getting on the field this year with a few new faces and take a run at it again.
Obviously, a couple of signings and a busy offseason, even though the season may not happen. What was your plan going into 2020 just to kind of bounce back and improve on a tremendous first season?
Yeah, we had some good pieces in place already with our team, but we knew in order to compete with the Barries, the Kitcheners, Hamilton, Toronto, London, I could say every team in the league, we knew we had to improve in some areas, and we did. We went out west this year. We did a camp out west, which was extremely successful. We went to Alberta, BC. We've signed 6 players that we can say that from our trip out west, that's how we got these players. And we got some real talented guys coming in, real good Canadian talent coming in. And in order to win in this league, you have to have the top Canadian talent. I believe that we've assembled that this year.
Well, I know last year a couple of Canadian guys, and you even look more locally into Niagara. Niagara played a big part last year's team, a couple of local key guys. How important is it to have those local guys to keep, the fans interested in a local name, but you watch these local guys grow into some of the top Canadian players on the field?
Absolutely. We love to have more Canadian talent from the Niagara area. There's no doubt. It's tough. The league is extremely tough, and these got to be top players essentially in Canada. So for us to draw from the Niagara region, we'd love to have more. We'd love to have 5, 10, 15 players from the Niagara region. Unfortunately, that's not possible. But we do have some really good baseball players in Niagara. There's more coming up through the system. So there's more younger guys that are on our radar for sure that hopefully in the next 1, 2, 3 years we'll have on our roster. But we do have a couple. Tyler Wood definitely back with us this year. And he can pitch. He can play the outfield. Real versatile guy from Niagara Falls. And then there's a few other local kids. We signed another local kid that's playing over in Niagara University Division I now, Zach Cameron from the Hamilton area, but he's got ties to Niagara as well. So we're definitely trying to bring in more younger Niagara talent where we can.
Obviously it's tough not being around, the clubhouse or getting to the stadium. I mean, Ryan obviously feels that itch as well, as I know he was driving down like crazy. But how is it being kind of stuck at home and not being able to go to the stadium?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I miss all you guys. It's definitely been a long time since I've seen any of you guys, so it's real tough. And I know we're only a month away from when the season was supposed to be starting. We'd really be ramping up right now, so it's frustrating. We definitely be indoors with the guys that we can from the Niagara area, the GTA, and we'd be working out with those guys. So it's tough. It's tough. I miss all the guys.
Hey, Brian, we got a question here from one of our fans. Dave White says, Coach, your thoughts on using fewer college players? We lost some value at key positions during the playoffs. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's another fantastic question. You're absolutely right. We built our team around pro players this year, and that's the route we went with the 2 signings we got from BC with Mortensen, Mackey, Alberta, Dunsmore, Runyon, Manitoba, Shaw, New Brunswick, Thibodaux, and there's some signings we haven't even announced too. So we've definitely done our homework this year, and we know it's a man's league. We know in order to win in this league, you gotta have men. That's what Barrie put on the field. That's what Kitchener put on the field. And we knew to compete with those teams, we had to have those type of athletes. So that's what we did, and that's what was our number one priority in the offseason was to do that. And we did it. We've got a real strong roster for this season, and they'll be there all season. So we won't be losing our main guys to Division I programs in the U.S. this year.
Perfect. Spencer, anything else there?
Well, I think just my closing thought to that is exactly what Dave was talking about. Obviously, a couple of college guys went to school last year, and we lose them in the playoffs. But you think about this season now, and we start so late. Is it going to be tough for you? Let's say we do start middle of July, even early July, to kind of feel the rotation and get feel out your team so early, even though there's going to be no training camp at all. It's kind of just let's play ball right away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Spencer. It's a show and go this season. If we do get on the field, it's definitely going to be a sprint to the finish line, that's for sure. We do have, like I just said, those players that we are bringing in and the returning guys that we have this year. I know they're staying in shape. I'm not concerned that they're not going to be physically in shape. Obviously, the baseball will be a little bit behind because we've all been indoors for the past month plus, and it looks like we're going to go on for another month or two here anyways. But every team's in the same boat. But like those players I just named, these are professional guys, and the guys that we have on our roster coming back from last year, they know how to get it done, and we'll be ready to go. I'm not concerned about that. I know everyone's in the same boat, so we'll be ready to go. We know we got on the mound too with our pitchers, and we've already established amongst our coaching staff and our general manager that where we are and where we see fit with these players. So I'm not concerned with that at all.
Perfect. Well, S, thanks for coming on. We appreciate taking your time out of your day to speak with us, and hopefully we'll get you on again very soon.
Anytime. Glad to speak with you guys, and hopefully we'll be connecting sooner than later.
Sounds great. Have a good
plan.
And we'll see you hopefully soon.
Yeah, you too, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Right, bye-bye.
You too.
All right, that was field manager Brian Essery on with us. I just want to put a reminder real quick before we go to our next guest of our trivia question. Which player hit the first ever home run in Jackfish history? You can win this beautiful Jackfish hat. Text your answers to 905-736-1346. And after our next guest, we will announce the winner and the answer. So up next, we got Commissioner of the Inter-County Baseball League, John Kastner, will be joining us for the second half of this show. John, welcome to Behind the Scales. First time.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Happy Good Friday, everybody. Happy Passover.
Well, I think this is
there
you go, Spence. This might be the first time you've done a behind the scenes show with any team, I think.
It is, absolutely.
So yeah, thanks for coming on. I know Spencer's got a bunch of questions for you.
We talked. Yeah, I'm cutting out a little bit, Ryan.
No, it's okay. Spencer's got a bunch of questions, but first, we always want to check in. How you doing? How's the family? How's everything going?
Good. I'm the same as everybody else in, I'm going to say the Western world, but probably around the globe. Is it, you're 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks now of being, somewhat isolation and self-distancing, and doing all those things. Reading a lot and getting some work done, but. Like not just around baseball, but around life in general. I'll be glad when this is over and we can get doing something, get to the ballparks and, start enjoying life as we know it.
I hear you. We just had Brian Essery on. He said basically the exact same thing. Just he misses seeing the guys and being in, the sunshine at the ballpark and with all of our fans and things like that. So I know we're missing that. Now we just lost Spencer again, but hopefully he'll be back to ask some questions. But I know some of the ones he was going to ask, what your thoughts were on the short, the potential shortened season, what we could look forward to potentially in, this season if we do have a season.
Yeah, and I think it sort of really dovetails into what we just talked about, a couple of minutes ago, about the isolation that people are going through. And, you and I both know that there was a lot of discussion about, trying to have an IBL season and some of the merits of doing that. And I think, having grown up, with the IBL and, watching IBL games since I was a kid, I know that it plays an important role. Those teams play an important role in our communities. And I think that's, hopefully the IBL can play a role in that, when we do get out and we do get out to the ballpark, that it's a place where people can reconnect, and not only teammates, but fans and, volunteers. And I hope that the IBL can serve a real role in the next stage of this pandemic, is when people are allowed to go out and it's safe to do so. That one of the great oases in our society is the ballpark, and that's the case in a traditional season, let alone after having 8 weeks of being locked up or however long it turns out to be.
Yeah. Now, Spencer, thanks for joining us back again. I just asked John, what we could potentially expect for a shortened season or any kind of baseball this summer. So I know you had a few more questions for him.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on briefly, I'll go back to last season, obviously, us coming into Welland for the first time back into the IBL. Your thoughts on how 2019 went, of course, Barrie winning again, and, progressing into 2020, what were your expectations for Welland's second season?
Well, if we talk about it, if we talk about that question in sort of layers and stages, the first thing I think about is the move of the franchise from Burlington to Welland. And, Ryan's on this show as well. And I can tell you that a lot of thought went into it. And it was very early on that I was a great advocate of it. And when we talked about the possibilities of going to a different community, I said I thought there was great merit in it. Welland has a terrific baseball history, obviously has a fantastic stadium. You're into a bit of a different pond, to steal a phrase, as it were, for other baseball teams when it comes to talent and sponsors and promotion and things like that. So it really was sort of unplowed ground. I think that it's really one of the great successes, not only of my 5 or 6 or 7 year tenure as commissioner of the IBL, but I think it's one of the great successes in the 100-year history of the IBL. We went from a ball team that was drawing people in the dozens to that were drawing, in some cases 1,000. And I had always hoped at the time that there would be a great future for this franchise in Welland. In my best expectations, it wouldn't be immediate. I thought it would be a 2 or 3 year process till you build up a fan base, a following, some sort of baseball culture in the community that was related to the IBL. And for me to go down, like to be there for the opening game and then to be like bookends and also to be there at the last game of the year and to see how that franchise had matured over the course of a season and in many ways exploded upon the scene. I thought it is really one of the great stories of the IBL of, not only perhaps of the history of the IBL, but certain of my lifetime.
Well, it was definitely something to be a part of. And I know game in and game out, you're seeing the Lions coming into the stadium and all the people thankful there was baseball back in town. Obviously, Welland, of course, would be excited to be back in it for another 2020 season. Is there any plans of expanding or, adding more teams in the coming future to try and grow this league even more?
Yeah, there's no question that that's one of my priorities as commissioner. I can tell you that quite likely, and your viewers here, I can tell you quite likely we'll have another team in 2021 and possibly have another team in 2022 as well. And we've had a number of communities that have expressed interest in it. I think now more than ever, both parties, both the league and these other communities, are ready to act and ready to make decisions about expanding the league. But I can say in real confidence that that the IBL is going to have more teams, and not exponentially, not in the distant future. I can tell you that in the near future, it's very likely we're going to have more teams.
Ryan, I don't know if you have a question to throw in there or if a fan has a question, but just a simple question. It may seem kind of throw you off guard a little bit, but what is the toughest part of being the commissioner of the IBL?
I've had a history. My career has been as a journalist, and I think I was a sports writer and then ran a newspaper for a number of years, and that's sort of been my career. And I often think that the ability from that skill set to be really impartial, to watch games and to watch situations without any sort of allegiance. Like I always say when I watch a game, the only thing I'm hoping for is a good game. I'm not hoping for one team to win over the other. And I can say that I don't think I've ever cared who won a ball game. And part of that is my background as a sports writer, where you're, essentially impartial. So I think that skill set has really helped me in this job. I think, one of the challenges for a lot of commissioners and people that run leagues is discipline. The ability or the propensity to suspend somebody that is not only fair and balanced, but also fits the punishment, keeping in mind that these are guys that in most cases work for a living. So historically, the hard part would be discipline. I've never found that to be problematic. I was chair of appeals and hearings for the Ontario Hockey Association for a number of years and very involved in hockey and discipline. So I can make those decisions and never really think about it again. The challenge I have, that I think the toughest part of this job is, if we have 8 teams in the league, or soon to be 9 and possibly 10, there are really 8 or 9 or 10 different sorts of operations. A couple of are sole proprietors, like Toronto, it's owned by a guy. Barrie and Kitchener are owned by, are not-for-profits that are run by a board of directors. Welland is, operated by 3 or 4 an ownership group, similar to Hamilton. So there's really varied operations, and in some cases, varied objectives or missions as to what those teams are. And for me to find that medium, that consensus, where everybody's okay with a league decision or league direction, as compared to everybody being ecstatic about it and thinking this is the absolute great thing to do. I don't think we've had one decision during my years where everybody said, hey, that's perfect, that's great. I do like to think that 90% of the decisions, people are, well, I can live with that, sort of thing. But the varied operations, the varied ownership models has, create some real challenges, when we come time to, like the most recent decision to truncate the season. that creates some challenges, and I try and build consensus. That would be the most difficult part of this job, I think.
Now, John, I got another one question for you. I know what my vision is for our team in the league and things like that, for the future. What does the Commissioner of the IBL's vision look like for, down the line, what the IBL could look like?
Well, I think the changing baseball scene in North America, I think, is a real opportunity for the IBL. As most know, there's far fewer minor league teams in 2019 as a result of COVID, and also the strategic plan of Major League Baseball. There'll be fewer minor league teams in 2020, regardless of what happens, and there'll be fewer teams in 2021. So I think, when I played in the league, our imports were guys who were, really good college players, or guys who played a bit of minor ball and were now interested in coming to Canada for the summer, and, and coming up here and playing a 30 or 40 or 45 game season. What I visualize is, I think that the quality of baseball in the last couple of years is far greater than even 6 years ago when I became the commissioner. It's unbelievably better than when I played in the late 1970s. And I really see the quality of baseball in this league continuing to grow as teams not only get imports from other parts of the world, places like Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Mexico, as well as the traditional places in the United States. There's no question that our imports are better. In addition to that, some teams are now finding players throughout Canada that are better. This is a really unique league, and it's a wooden bat league. It's high quality. You've got collegiate players, you've got former pros, you've got guys that have played 20 years. I see the quality of this league becoming better and better and better. I want to make sure that we're receptive to that, and we create a landscape so that communities, teams like Welland, can build teams as good as they can be, keeping in mind the idea of limiting expenses. So, 4 imports is a number we settled on. I can see that moving, but only maybe by 1. I can't see us going any much more than that, but finding, really good Canadian players and putting together a lineup that's got 6 or 7 really good pitchers, and good position players, and, really good baseball. And I would say as good a amateur baseball as there is from sea to sea to sea in the Dominion of Canada. That's my vision for the IBL. And to be honest, it's not much of a vision because we're really not that far away. We're not really that far away from that accomplishment. So that's not some grand, pie in the sky idea that we're going to set a strategic plan in 5 years. We hope we get there. I don't think we're very far away.
Yeah, I know with our team, our number one plan was when we came in, if you went to one of our games, you really wouldn't see a difference between going to any minor pro game, if it's the Bisons or anything like that. That's kind of our premise. And I know that, vision, again, I'm not so much the on-field guy than the off-field guy. So my vision varies with that I hope we all come up to that kind of quality with all of our, entertainment and fan offerings and different things like that. So definitely looking that way. And it looks like we're starting to trend upwards. So
when I watched a documentary, we're all watching lots of TV and reading and so on. And Netflix, a couple of weeks ago, I watched a documentary about the Battered Bastards of Baseball, which is a team out of Portland, Oregon. And one of the things that they had that I took away from that was that team that was not part of a major league organization was able to retain their players over their core group of players over a couple of years. So there was a far greater fan base and enjoyment level for that community because the community could identify with those players. Whereas if they were a true minor league team, as soon as a guy got good, he was gone. He was up to the next level and he disappeared. And you might see a guy, for 6 weeks. Whereas our model is not dissimilar to that organization, where you can have guys come and stay for a summer or 2 summers or 5 summers. If you're a follower of the IBL, I can tell you the most popular player among the London majors is Cleveland Brownlee, who's an import. He's from Alabama, and he's 6, 7, 8, 9 10 years in the IBL, he's probably their most popular player. If it's a true minor league team, he's gone. He doesn't come. He's not part of a system. And so we've got a distinct advantage over even minor league teams like, like the Bisons, like the Durham Bulls and places like that where baseball is hugely successful. We've got a landscape here that can really lend itself to fan team relationships.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of fans think about it though, and I've said this multiple times that most of our teams in our league, we're the only show in town in the summer for the most part for sports entertainment. Hamilton, they do have the Ticats and things like that, but Guelph, Welland, Kitchener, we're basically it. So we really could have a stronghold on the sports entertainment dollars.
Yeah, and there's not only is that one of the reasons we're successful, but there's great potential and I often say great runway there for us as well.
For sure. Well, that's it. I don't know if Spencer, if you had any other questions there.
No, I think I'm good. I appreciate you coming on though.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and it's an honor. It's great to be to help come on and talk about Jackfish baseball, which is really a terrific experience. And when I go to the park and I see not only the level of ball, some of the great players that came there last year, but the fan experience, the spectator experience with the mascot, the games, all that ancillary thing that goes on. To me, this is really one of the franchises that makes the IBL the enjoyable experience it is, and it makes me proud to really be part of this league and to help to promote it and move it and continue hopefully to move it forward.
Thanks for that, John. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you on again down the line. Hopefully when and if we have a season this year, but if not, see you in 2021, pretty much.
Right on. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bye. All right, Spence, we're getting close to the end here. We do have another question, so we'll get to that. Sure. Patricia Hart asked, if they shorten the season, will there be more doubleheaders to play more games? So right now, the kind of plan is if we start in July, it'll be a 9-week season, which will be able to fit in 20 total games. So it's 10 home, 10 away, and a small amount of playoffs. So with that, we probably wouldn't have double headers unless they were necessary, as like usual in our season. But we play a 20-game season if we can, and then hope for the best with that. Another question from Dave White: will IBL games be streamed this season? So yes, I know if we do play games, ours will be streamed. I know London's will be streamed. Guelph's will be streamed. Toronto. So yeah, I believe they will be. So you shouldn't have an issue.
Yeah, I know Toronto did games last year.
Yes.
Hamilton is the only team I don't think did.
No, and then I know they were working on it though. So it was mandated that every team have live stream this year. Now, obviously, with the current situation, maybe not every team can, but we'll see if and when we get to that point. All right, so we have our winner for our Jackfish Trivia Contest. The answer comes from Zach, and the first home run belongs to this gentleman.
That one crushed in the air to right field. It's going to be over top of him, and it's gone. That one leaves the yard. DeAndre Asbury Heath hits one the opposite way and over top of the right field wall. It's a solo home run to lead off the third, and the Welland Jackfish hop out in front 4-1.
So there you go, DeAndre Asbury Heath with the first ever Jackfish home run. Congratulations to Zach. We will contact you on how to claim your prize. Let's see, you have another comment here. Dave asked about fan bus trips. Yes, we will still do fan bus trips if we can. No problem with that. Well, Spence, this is the longest show we've ever done, I think. That was 40 minutes. A lot of good content, though, I feel.
Yeah, no, other than my poor internet coming in and out, I thought it was fantastic. You know what, even just act again with the fans, have S come on and the commissioner, and then simply talk baseball because it is a possibility still. It's not out of the question. I know a lot of us other sports are calling it quits, and even the NHL right now, a lot of big name associations don't know what's happening. So it's kind of it's great to see that people are still caring about the Jackfish and the IBL, because after only one season, there's still so much more to go.
There's lots planned, lots to go, and we're super excited, and we can't wait to eventually get back on the field with all of our fans who I don't know about you, but some of them are family now. Even after one year, we've built a small family in Welland. And we're
Staples at the ballpark. It's amazing.
We're super excited to kick it into high gear when we can, and we still got a lot of special things up our sleeves for fans to enjoy. So we're excited about that. But don't forget, fans, we will be having our virtual home opener at home May 16th at 1:05. You'll have everything. Everything from how to cook a hot dog to in between inning contests to I think we're probably going to put together a nice song and dance from our cheerleading squad, and we'll have a little bit of everything.
I can only imagine some of the things. Going through your head on what is going to take place on the virtual home opener.
Well, when you get to sit here for hours and hours inside your house, you have a lot of time to think of different ideas. So we're pretty pumped, and we can't wait. Now, again, I want to remind everybody we still need a few more videos. So please, if you can, please send your video to the Baby Shark song. All the instructions are there. It's on Facebook. We'll have reminders go throughout the rest of next week up until the 13th. So please send in your videos, and I can't wait to push that one over our social media channels. So I know for myself and the Welland Jackfish, we thank everybody for watching, and we hope you enjoyed. We will be doing these every few weeks. We'll bring new guests on every time, and can't wait to see our fans again. That's your cue, Spence. You're gonna say bye now.
Oh, all right. Hey, all right. I'll say bye, and then I have to end it normally with "Go Jackfish."
Go Jackfish.